Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best cameras for filmmaking.
Starting at number 5.
Panasonic Lumix S5 IIX. I've been making films since the days of literal film stock. Through the years, I watched digital cameras transform the industry, with clients demanding HD footage, then 1080p, and now 4K. These days, I stay on top of the latest and greatest in camera technology, even as standards change nearly day by day. To find the best cameras for filmmaking, I drew from my own professional experience and conferred with Pocket Lint's team of fellow AV pros. Together, we came up with the following aspects to prioritize when choosing a camera for filmmaking. Resolution. We consider 4K to be the minimum resolution for shooting a video. Higher resolutions might seem unnecessary, since most screens don't go higher than 4K. However, a higher resolution allows you to crop the frame down to 4K in post-production, giving you greater cinematographic control over your image. Higher resolutions cropped down to 4K also allow you to add cinematic letterboxes, crop out any boom mics that accidentally dipped into the frame, and even change the apparent focal length. Frame rate. Traditionally, big-budget movies are presented at 24 frames per second, 25 frames per second in Europe. This is considered the sweet spot for a cinematic look, but that doesn't mean you have to shoot at 24 frames per second. In fact, many modern films are shot at higher frame rates and then exported at 24 frames per second, a trick that makes adding CGI, effects, and edits easier. And if you want to employ slow motion, you'll need a camera that can shoot at 60 frames per second and above. Codecs. Codecs are what compress and decompress video files, so they play an important role in color information and the smoothness of motion. H.264 and H.265 are commonly used for recording up to 4K, but higher resolution video may require more data-rich codecs like Apple ProRes and Blackmagic RAW. You should also consider a camera's maximum bitrate, with anything 10-bit and higher offering greater color depth. On the other hand, these advanced codecs also consume much more memory, so consider what's necessary for your project. Sensor size. Full-frame sensors dominate the market these days, and for good reason. Their larger size means larger pixels, and larger pixels mean better low-light performance, less noise, less grain, and an overall sharper image. However, smaller sensor formats have their advantages, too. APS-C and Micro Four Thirds cameras are significantly more compact, and their lenses are also shorter. These smaller sensors also require less processing power to capture high resolutions, so many models deliver pro specs without costing quite as much. Autofocus. The technology for autofocus these days is crazy, with advanced features like lightning-fast phase detection and AI-powered subject tracking. Some traditionalists might not use it, but we must concede that such autofocus technology makes filmmaking a lot easier. It takes the guesswork out of finding the focus, and it's certainly more accurate than our clumsy human hands. We recommend looking into the autofocus technology of your camera of choice.
Coming at number 4.
Canon EOS R5. Considering the Canon EOS R5 costs about half the price of the Sony A1 while sporting comparable specs, it's an undeniable bargain. Of course, it's not cheap, but you won't find 8K capabilities, an intelligent AF system, and advanced in-body stabilization anywhere else in this price range. And if you pair the EOS R5 with some of that premium Canon glass, the results are gorgeous. The EOS R5 has all the strengths endowed by its full-frame mirrorless design, including powerful low-light performance via its sensitive 45MP CMOS sensor. And for filmmakers, the vast dynamic range lets you capture rich color information, even in the dark. Simply expose your highlights, and all that shadowy detail will be captured in full. There's a lot to love about the EOS R5, and it stands on its own as an excellent choice for filmmakers, even before you consider the price. But at less than $4,000, the cost is hard to believe. If you want an affordable entry into the big leagues, the EOS R5 is the ticket. When we compared price and power, the Panasonic Lumix S5 IIX came out on top. Its accessible cost belies its incredible video specs, with a 6K max resolution and internal ProRes recording. Add to that the advanced autofocus and stabilization, and you have our favorite overall camera. But other cameras have other strengths. Sony's A7S III excels in low lighting, making the most of that massive full-frame sensor. And if you prefer the compactness of a micro Four Thirds camera, we recommend the Panasonic Lumix G9 II. Within its lightweight and portable frame is a powerhouse of videography, with 5.3K 60 video and external SSD recording.
At number 3.
Sony A1. We couldn't make a guide to filmmaking cameras without giving the renowned Sony A1 a shout-out. It's the most powerful camera on our list, but the price puts it out of most people's budgets. In fact, its expensive cost is one of its only drawbacks. If you can afford the Sony A1, get ready for 8K cinematic glory. Sony's high-end camera delivers an experience like no other alpha or, really, like any other camera out there. But it does cost a packet. The Sony A1 is actually a hybrid camera, performing exceptionally well in both still photography and video. Its 50MP full-frame sensor employs 759 phase detection points to deliver one of the most advanced autofocus systems to date. With AI-based tracking, you can tap on your subject via the touchscreen and the autofocus locks on with pinpoint accuracy, even if the target moves around sporadically. It also has eye tracking, animal tracking, people tracking, and more. For infallible autofocus, the A1 is king. All that 8K footage and ProRes codecs wouldn't be possible without the Bion's XR processor. The brains of the system, this new-age processor can snap 50MP burst shots at a rate of 30 frames per second, all while maintaining its autofocus and image stabilization. It does the same for video, too, juggling data-rich presets and settings with ease. Indeed, if you have the funds, the Sony A1 is the pinnacle of SLR filmmaking cameras.
Number 2 of my list.
Sony Alpha A7S III. When Pocketlin's Cam Bunton gave the Sony A7S III his official review, he named it the low-light video champ. And it maintains its title to this day. The full-frame XMR sensor has a max ISO of 409,600, which should give you an idea of just how sensitive this beauty is. And the results are gorgeous. Even when shooting in the shadows, the A7S III delivers sharp, noise-free videos with deep color information. Read why the 3rd-gen A7S full-frame stills and video camera is so impressive. For consumer videographers, it's almost unrivaled. But the low-light performance isn't the only area where the A7S III excels. The autofocus, for example, employs cutting-edge technology for inhuman accuracy. It's a hybrid system, with both contrast detection and phase detection working in unison, and it boasts intelligent tracking modes that can lock onto faces and other subjects. The image stabilization is also worth a nod, with a respectable rating of 5.5 stops. One more note for filmmakers, the A7S III features the eminent S-Cinetoned picture profile. It's akin to S-Log/D-Log, but it has a reputation for providing the best skin tone and color for cinema. Indeed, even before color correcting, S-Cinetone footage has an undeniably big screen look to it, adding one more feature to the A7S III's long list of video-centric strengths.
And number 1.
Panasonic Lumix S5 IIX. We've touted the Panasonic Lumix S5 IIX as the best overall camera. But if it's a hybrid camera, with strengths in still photography as well as video, how did it end up on our list of cameras for filmmaking? The answer is simple. At this price, you won't find a better full-frame camera with specs like these. Between the 5.8K max video resolution, the advanced autofocus, and internal ProRes recording, the S5 IIX checks all the boxes for professional filmmaking at an accessible price. Panasonic's most popular full-frame camera gets boosted video functionality and a stealthy paint job to match. The high resolution is just the beginning. The S5 IIX has numerous video-centric features that don't typically take center stage. For example, the active, in-body stabilization is extremely accurate, allowing you to shoot handheld without generating motion blur. There's also a built-in fan that keeps the processor running smoothly even when shooting in demanding codecs. Add Bluetooth, USB, mic-in, Wi-Fi, and HDMI connectivity, and you have a flexible filmmaking device. One of the biggest boons for filmmakers is direct-to-SSD recording. This means you can use an external drive to record your files, opening up possibilities for multi-terabyte storage. It's a necessary feature when shooting in 5.8K with high-fidelity codecs, which eats up storage space fast. The S5iIX's accolades could fill a library, but we'll keep it short and sweet. If you want a powerful, professional camera for filmmaking, the S5iIX is worth every penny.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.